This video is going to be about Algebra 2 IXL topic K8 when it gets a little bit harder and the value of a is greater than 1. So when it gets a little bit harder and the value of a is greater than 1, you can always factor by grouping, but it's a little bit more difficult than just doing the diamond method and using the factors that you get. So one thing that you can also use in order to solve a quadratic equation, no matter what, is called the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. I know it's a long formula, and it pretty much comes from the standard form of quadratic equation when you solve for x. There's a song to help you remember it too. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Memorizing that song can help you remember this. So first identify your a, b, and c values, and then simply substitute them into the quadratic formula, and you'll have your two roots. Remember, generally speaking, when you have a parabola, it might have two roots because remember it goes up and down. So its roots or solutions would be the points it crosses the x-axis. Now this isn't always true because sometimes it might just have one solution if it only hits the x-axis at one point, or it could have zero solutions if it doesn't hit the x-axis at all, like this one down here. But that's why, generally speaking, like this purple one here, you'll have two solutions, and that's why there's this plus or this minus. There's the positive version and the negative version. Two roots, two solutions. So let's see how to use this formula in practice. X equals negative b, so b is 11, plus or minus the square root of b squared. That's 11 squared. Make sure that you put it in parentheses, because when you square it, if it was negative, it would come out positive, and that's a big mistake that people make. So the squared is from the equation, minus 4 times a times c. A is 3, and c is 8. And you divide that all by 2 times a. Remember, a was 3. Let's go ahead and simplify this now. So we have negative 11 plus or minus the square root of 121, that's 11 times itself, minus, let's see, 4 times 3 is 12, 12 times 8 is 96. All over, all divided by 6, 2 times 3. And if you subtract 121 minus 96, right, if you did 121 minus 100, it would be 21, but then you'd have to add 4 back, so that's 25. Hey, the square root of 25 is just 5. So this is just like negative 11 plus or minus the square root of 25, which as we know is 5. And it makes sense, right? Because when you take the square root, there's two answers. There's the positive version and the negative version. 5 times 5 is 25, and negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. So you could rewrite this two ways. It could be negative 11 plus 5 divided by 6. That's the plus or minus. And then there's the negative version, which is the negative 11 minus 5 divided by 6. So let's simplify these and see what we get. This would be negative 6 over 6, or negative 1. That's one of our solutions. The other one would be negative 16 divided by 6. But it's asking you to write it as a simplified fraction here, in simplest form. So we can divide the top and bottom by 2 since they're both even numbers. So you would have negative 8 over 3. So you have two answers, negative 1 and negative 8 over 3. Go ahead and make sure you write your answers separated by a comma. The order should not matter. There you have it.